Hello there. Happy full moon. It's Tuesday, December 13th, 2016, where I am. I'm Sheila, BlueWater Oracle, and I'm here to give you an oracle card reading for today and for the energies leading forward. So if you want to take a deep breath with me, to give yourself a moment of pause, a moment to reflect, and to receive your own messages as well as those that I get through the oracle cards, and you will hopefully find benefit for your day. So, breathing together, I will intuitively choose the cards as I always do. So, here we go. Just choosing which deck I wanted to come forward. I'm going to shuffle. We're going to choose 2 cards today. Shuffling. Everybody has their own way to choose cards. Mine is to shuffle from one hand to the other and ask that the card with the highest good for you, for me, for all of us who will receive this information, these messages, these insights, that it comes forward and makes itself known. In this case, it's the top card. And I'm going to go. So that's from the Earth Magic deck. And enthusiastically, my Gateway Oracle cards, I want to come up for the second card for today. Yep, they're very enthusiastic. They've been wanting to come out a lot in the last little while. So something about the energies moving forward. Perhaps it's as we come towards the end of the calendar year here. So let's have a look. First card. The Meadow, the Vulnerability card. So for those of you who've listened before to me when I do card readings, it isn't always about what's exactly on the card, but sometimes ideas that pop into my mind or things that are reflected within the card. So in this case, I know that immediately there's some people who are seeing the vulnerability aspect of this card, and that is immediately bringing them into a place of intense emotion. So what is it about feeling vulnerable that is causing that reflection in you? It's a word that I think often has a bit of a negative connotation if we're vulnerable. Perhaps it means that we're weak. Perhaps it means that we're not able to take care of ourselves. But there's something very specific coming up for some of you, not everybody listening to this, but some people who that word and that reaction, where is it coming from? And this has been something in a few of the readings I've done recently, that it's the idea of where is this coming from? Where is that information? So allow yourself to reflect on it. You don't need to hunt, you don't need to search intensively, but just allow it to come up. So if there's a reflection of a time in your life, or a certain type of energy or a certain type of situation that's making you think of it, then that could be enough just to be aware. It's reminding me also that to be vulnerable in some circumstances can mean just to be open, to allow ourselves to really be in expression, but also to receive expression, to receive emotions, insights, input from other people. So like many things, our perception on the word itself can be important. And an idea just popped in my head. I love it when it does that, but sometimes it's very intense because I thought there's something about the flowers. What is it about the flowers? And as soon as I said the perception, it made me look in my mind's eye about the flowers. And what is the difference between a beautiful flower that people plant and want in their garden and a weed? It's our perception. It's our way of thinking about it. And that comes from the knowledge that we have as well as our own way of looking at things. So for somebody else, a plant or a flower that we might think of as a weed, for somebody else it might be a medicinal plant, or they might see the incredible beauty in that flower, or the uniqueness and the hardiness of that plant to come forward where perhaps it's not always intended. So when you think about being vulnerable, be open to the idea of your perception about it. And you can think about that flower in a desired way versus what we classify as a weed, can be a way for you to reflect on, how am I perceiving my vulnerability, but also the vulnerability in other people. All right, so our perceptions, sometimes we just need to learn a little bit more, and sometimes we need to be aware so that we open our ideas and welcome in a different possibility. Okay, even if we're not always sure what that is, just by welcoming it in, it can be very powerful. So by welcoming in the idea that that flower, that plant, might not be the worst thing ever, sometimes we will then allow information to come to us, or a perception, or somebody else's idea. We welcome it in, and then we can hear how they use the plant or how they see it. And all of a sudden, maybe we look at that and go, oh, maybe that flower is not so bad. Maybe it's actually very interesting. All right. A cool card for the first one for today on a full moon. The second card, igniting courage. All right, hope you can see it okay. I know it's backwards, sorry. So this card has a person riding on a horse, leaping over a stone wall. There's a castle in the background. And the affirmation here is, I am strong, valiant, and courageous. This to me is playing really into that vulnerable point, that vulnerability question and perception and understanding. The same can be held when we think about being strong, valiant, courageous. There are different perspectives on that. What is strong for one person isn't necessarily strong for another. And what is courageous in one person may not be perceived the same as another. Is that a problem? Or is it a fantastic uniqueness within the human quality that we can have different ideas of similar words, similar qualities, and how can we learn from that from each other and what we perceive? We're at a time of a lot of information. So we see a lot of different people, how they express themselves, how they are involved in our world. And if we can open to the idea that, okay, that person is being strong in what they are discussing, how can I look at it? Maybe in a new way or open to a different way. How can I be courageous in what they are discussing, but find that courage in my own way? And what feels so important to this is something that a good friend of mine has reminded me of many times over my life, that the life journey does not have to be compared from one person to another. So what is happening in your life and what is asking you to be strong doesn't have to be of the same level or the same perceived value as somebody else's life. So don't judge yourself. You are being strong in the ways that you are asked to be, and that you are learning in your own journey. If you feel as though you could be stronger on certain things, or more courageous and more valiant on certain things, open up to the idea. What would it look like? What would it feel like? And also be aware again of, where does that come from? That desire, that need to be more strong, more valiant, more courageous, or in different ways than yours. Is it an open, honest perspective that's saying, oh, I would like to learn that. That is fascinating to me, or that is something I would really like to strive for to continue my learning journey? Or is it coming from a place of judgment and of putting yourself down? So be aware. I think, and this is leading on from a beautiful reading I had this morning on Skype, that sometimes we need to remind ourselves of our own qualities. And it's also something I've been doing in a business course recently, where we are looking at what our own qualities are. what do we sometimes forget that we have as qualities? We forget that we live with. So here, as we have this person riding, leaping over a stone wall, they're perhaps leaping into their own qualities, being aware of their strengths, aware of where they're courageous. And as they get to know, as you get to know where you are shining in those qualities, somebody else might have a different quality that will be able to help you and complement you as you are able to help them and complement them. So a lot about perspectives on this reading. And don't forget, even the idea of a full moon is a perspective. It is not seen the same way on the same date by everybody on our earth. It is a question of position and light and vision. So, 2 beautiful cards for today, asking us to reflect, to be aware, and also to give ourselves knowledge about our own qualities and where we shine. So I wish you a beautiful rest of the full moon day and all the best for the week ahead. And I look forward to chatting with you next time. This is Sheila Bicknell, BlueWater Oracle. And the cards I used today, the Vulnerability was from the Earth Magic Oracle cards by Stephen Farmer. And the Igniting Courage is by the Gateway Oracle cards by Denise Linn. And they're both available through Hay House. And the Earth Magic also on earthmagic.com, and of course, earthmagic.net and deniselinn.com for her cards and products. Please, I love to hear your comments. It helps me to know whether the readings are interesting to you and what you've received from them. So I love to hear your comments either here on YouTube or on my Facebook page, BlueWater Oracle. And feel free to get in touch for your own personal Oracle session where we use the cards to chat with you and to see what needs to come up for you in this very moment. All the best. Have a great day. Bye-bye.